Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Niels.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Let's wait a couple of minutes so more people can join.
Hello.
Yeah. So I think we can start with Access Gateway updates from Sebastian.
All right. Hello, everyone. I wanted to give a few short updates about the containerization efforts. And the first update is that the simple integration test, so only test, attach, detach, is now finally running in the CI. And it works as a kind of smoke test. So it uses a deployed Docker AGW in GitHub Actions and then runs test, attach, detach against that setup. And we're still working on also enabling the rest of the integration tests to run against the containers. But so far they are not quite stable enough, but that's still ongoing. And the second short update on containerization is that Magma is now finally able to start and stop the other Docker containers. And to do that, it needed to get the Docker socket inside the container. So this works the same way as it works in the Federation gateway now. And of course, that has some security implications. So the isolation of that container is not as well as before. But the isolation of the Docker containers is well, not working that well at the moment anyway. And it's the same as in the FEG. And yeah, that's it for the containerization updates. Any question about these points?
Yeah, this update which you have mentioned, that is already merged with the master branch, the Magma
Yes.
D1.
Yeah, that's already on master.
Oh, okay. Nice.
One thing that doesn't work yet is, I mean, Magma D can restart services by itself, and it can, for example, update mconfig. What doesn't work is the systemd restart loop of some of the other containers. Well, not a loop, but for example, if you restart MME, you automatically also restart mobilityd and sessioнд, I think. That only works with systemd so far. It doesn't work in Docker yet. that's something that we're still looking at.
Any questions for Sebastian? Okay, thank you, Sebastian. Then we can move on to the first agenda, that is 5G updates. Yogesh can give the updates.
Good. Yeah, just give me a minute, I'll share my screen. So I think most of the work what we've been doing is on the bug fixing, especially on the feature and the limitations what we have reported in 1.8. The daily CI/CD of IESA is ongoing. Plus, there are some few minor enhancements we are doing, like some IEs which we are not handling. So we have added some handler for that. On the activity front, these are the Zenith tasks and the PRs that got merged. Most of the Zenith tasks were like some of the installations and the issues which was reported in 1.8. So like the open switch installation and pipeline getting restarted. So all of them are closed. And the PRs which got merged from the last update was it's 14098. Basically, it focuses on the QoS number values attached to the policy. There were some issues in the conversion part. The value we were getting from session D was not getting reflected. There's a network feature support IE which we have introduced as part of 14039 and 13413. Basically, it tells what kind of different feature set it is supporting, like IMS and other things. Right now, they are disabled by default. And one more fix regarding the session modification, where there was some problem when we were getting the negative response from Skyrent. I think that was not handled properly, and this was one limitation we mentioned in 1.2. Yeah, I think pretty much that's all for my side. I think for the coming weeks, we'll be start focusing more on that Docker-based testing, because whatever we did in 1.2 was like more like a dev testing, sanity testing. Going forward, we'll focus more on the content-based testing. That's all from my side. Any questions? I think that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Yogesh. Okay, so next we have Bazel updates, starting with
Just one.
yeah, you guys can start.
Yep. So I would like to talk about an improvement to some workflows, namely the Bazel at the intact test workflow, the Magma Debian intact test workflow, and the Bazel pseudo test workflows. Before or previously, these workflows didn't have their XML test results published, and now that has changed. And you can download the XML test results, and there is also a new summary added to these workflows, and you no longer have to search in the logs to find failing tests. You can just go to this link in the summary, and there you can see which test failed. And yeah, that is all for me. Are there any questions to this? If not, then we can continue with Jan.
Yep, I will also quickly grab the screen. Can you see my browser window?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, we've been working on a bunch of stabilization tickets regarding the basal LTE intact test. So this is basically testing, doing the same as the normal LTE intact test, but with the basal build binaries. And we were experiencing some instabilities, and so these tickets here, some of these were some smaller fixes, and then some are also fixes or improvements that also influence the non-basal part. For example, one thing we did is now that the logs of the intact test are now uploaded on every build, also when it's a success, and before it was all only done for failures. And one thing we did is we implemented a wait function that basically waits for the pipeline D to be up and working properly. And this was previously realized after we restarted all services, we would just wait for 1 minute. And we found that sometimes this 1 minute wasn't enough. And an additional benefit now should be, now that we don't have this fixed 1 minute wait, if it is up faster, then we should also wait a bit less than 1 minute and speed up the test a little bit. And also we added one new test where we checked that all services are running. And we did that because we discovered that at one point eNode PD was broken and it wasn't detected because eNode PD is not really covered by the intact test so far. And now this doesn't really cover it very deeply, of course, but it's sort of a high level smoke test that all services are running. So we will detect when one service doesn't run. Any questions to that? Okay, then I will give back the screen.
Thank you. One DevOps update we have that right now we are working on the migration of the Artifactory to the self-hosted LF Artifactory, and we will have a limitation that we can only push packages from the CI, and we are working on that process. For the one time, we will have to migrate whatever we have in our Artifactory, then we can deprecate that, and later on, we'll only enable CI to push new packages there. Yeah, that's it. Any questions? Okay, so we have a lot of time left. If anyone would like to bring something up, please do.
Yeah, hello everyone. Here Frank from OpenAir.
Hi, Frank.
Hi. Just to say a few words about containerize the access gateway that the task that we're working on currently. So what we have done so far is to deploy the setup on the Amazon AWS. For the access gateway, we have used the ARM architecture, and we actually succeed into running the S1 IP as a process using 3 VM setup, one VM for the access gateway, another one for the S1 IP tester, and the last one is for the iPerf traffic server. So we succeed into running the several tests. I can share my screen actually. Yeah. So we have, do you see my screen by the way?
Yeah, we see it. Okay,
so we have, as I said, we have deployed the access gateway as Docker container on the AWS Graviton based on ARM architectures. For the S1 IP and the iPerf, it's based on x86 virtual machine instances. So we have succeeded to running all those tests, but still there are some tests that fail for the moment that we need to check on. I have created a PR for that. The PR was submitted, but it is under review, so I have to correct some stuff on it because this is my first year actually. So several things to change at least on the README file. So it's ongoing. Yeah, that's it.
And this is specifically for ARM.
For ARM, yeah.
Nice.
Are you just running the gateway on ARM or also the S1AP tester?
The S1AP tester is based on x86 virtual machine.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And this is an AWS setup or some private data center?
Yeah, AWS setup.
Okay, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Frank? Okay, thanks. Lucas, you would like to bring something up?
Sure. So I'm looking at the potential for using MCs and APN overrides for attacking Magma, and it's pretty detailed. It's a pretty detailed look at the code, like you're really looking at everything on the byte level. Like, is it possible to use Unicode to find a way to abuse MCs, for example? I just want to offer to anybody who is interested to work with me on that. You might find it a pretty compelling half hour or hour at the most to trace the path of those bytes from the airwaves into the access gateway and beyond. And to be clear on what's interesting about this, this is a place where bytes come into Magma, right? And attacks always have to do with data flows. So there's a huge data flow kind of pipeline of bytes into Magma and opportunity for attackers. And the code there is kind of crufty. Like, we have this old Eurocom stuff that's been widely copied all around GitHub, and it's byte level, it's C code, and then we've made our own modifications to it. It's a great spot for attacks. Again, people might find it's an interesting thing to work on. Reach out if you want. I'm on Slack.
Okay.
That's it.
Sure, Lucas.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lucas. Any new topic? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.